Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you coming on in for a night of UFOs with Mark Christopher Lee, and we are going to have a lot of fun asking him about what the hell is going on in the UFO world right now. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you, including Race Fan in the gold medal position, Necessary Dialogue with a silver, T-Bone with a bronze medal tonight. Thank you very much for coming on in. Kurt M., how are you tonight, Kitty Cattywhack? Good to see you. Lil Cam, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, so thank you very much. If you're wondering about my voice tonight, my allergies are kicking the crap out of me today, so I'm battling, but I'm here. Integrationing is here. Integrationing will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Shane Gord, Frankie B, Michael Morris, the attorney at large. How are you? Thunderhead, nice to see you. Mama Catherine, mwah, I love you, my dear. I hope you're having a great day, great night, and I hope you enjoy this one. This one's going to be good for you. Excuse me. Thunderhead, Desert Rat, and Jennifer Beveridge. How you doing, everybody? Much love to each and every one of you. Kathy Evans, thanks for coming on in tonight as we continue on with our roll call. There's Luscious Jules. Bigfoot Fades, how you doing? Nice to see you. Jay Truth, always a pleasure to have you here. Holy Sun, thank you for coming on in. Millennium, my man, how you doing, my friend? We appreciate you. As we continue on with our roll call, good morning to Skip to My Lou in Denmark. Good morning to you. Body Tech, good morning from London, England. My fellow Commonwealther, how are you? Louise, nice to see you today. Carol Amario, how you doing? Mel, thank you for that amazing super chat. Really appreciate your love and support. Edwin Guerra is here. Edwin Guerra will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Necessary Dialogue, good to see you. Honest Content, thanks for coming on in. And who is next on our list? It is Stephanie Kenny Blankenship. Divine Diamond, how are you tonight? Undead Jed, thanks for coming on in. We scroll on down next to Pam Harris. Thank you for joining us. And who is next? Well, it's Sunny Sandu, everybody. If you wave at Sunny Sandu, Sunny always waves back. So give it a try. It works. Ghost Fixer, how are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Flubber Lane, Shogun, nice to have you both here. Two Shadows, Dispatch Center, how you doing? And Honest Content, again, thank you for coming on in. And do we have anybody else that snuck in here? Well, it's Pre-Blown. Yeah, Pre-Blown is snuck on in. We appreciate that. Super Crazy, how you doing? Nice to see you. And I raced through that. Oh, there's my second favorite name on YouTube, Goot. How you doing, Goot? Nice to see you. All right, let's get the radio and podcast side going here, guys. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. The UFO story has been a big one over the last few weeks, and one of the guys in the middle of it all has been Mark Christopher Lee. We are going to bring him in tonight to talk about this wild and wacky world of UFOs. We are in roll call right now on our YouTube side. We say hello to Robert Anthony. How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. Reminder to our YouTube people, the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. We would greatly appreciate that. And then, of course, I want you all to go to cariboucon.com, CARIBOO con.com, cariboucon.com. Because I want all of you to go get VIP tickets for September 18th through 20th. Come to the heart of the Caribou region of British Columbia. Hang out with us for a great 3-day paranormal, supernatural, and UFO event. Great speakers like Grant Cameron, Merle, and many more. We got about 10 seconds. I want you all to do me a favor right now, whether you're on YouTube or in Radio Land. Throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin walls. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by CaribouCon. Head on over to cariboucon.com. Get your VIP tickets for a great paranormal supernatural event in the heart of British Columbia, September 18th through 20th. We are getting deep into the UFO story tonight. Documentarian, researcher, author Mark Christopher Lee joins us from the United Kingdom to talk about this amazing push towards disclosure that we are seeing. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. We are going to follow that up with Robin Haynes, who will be here for the cryptid Q&A. It's always a fun time when Robin is here as well. So stay tuned, everybody. We got a busy show ahead. Mark Christopher Lee is a ufologist, filmmaker, and author, known for his deep investigations into extraterrestrial phenomena, hidden history, and government secrecy surrounding UFOs. His documentary work has earned him international attention, including his film God vs. Aliens, which premiered at the prestigious Cannes Film Festival and explored the intersection of religion, ancient beliefs, and the possibility of extraterrestrial influence on humanity. Mark's latest documentary, The King of UFOs, now streaming on Tubi, examines the long-rumored royal family interest in UFOs, unexplained phenomena, uncovering fascination and fascinating connections, and little-known historical accounts. But for recent news, many of you will know Mark as somebody who said that Donald Trump had a speech ready for the UFO disclosure. The My Fellow Americans speech was apparently laid out and ready. He took a lot of heat for that. He said it was coming on May 8th. And guess what happened on May 8th? We got the files. Let's bring him on in. Mark Christopher Lee, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you for inviting me back. It's much appreciated.
I want to ask you right off the bat, I'm going to gonna punch you directly in the eyes here, the UFO eyes, not your physical eyes, your UFO eyes.
Mm.
Did you think back in March, February, when you started making the news around the UFO world that there was something imminent coming? Did you think it was going to blow up like this?
I did. I really did. And that's why I decided to go public with this information that I received, because I really felt that it was going to happen and that the public and the world needed to know that it was going to happen to prepare ourselves for what would be one of the biggest changes to our current way of thinking and living. So yeah, I did, really did.
Explain to our listeners how you got so enveloped in the UFO world, because we're going to get deep with you tonight.
Sure. It goes back really to when I was a kid. I had my own experience. I was about 3 or 4, and I was in my bedroom going to bed one night, and this spectacular thing happened. It was awe-inspiring. It was a woman's face coming out of my bedroom wall. It wasn't human. It was something else. At the time, I thought it was an angel, coming from a religious background context. But now I kind of maybe think it might have been something else. So that kind of made me sit up and think that there's more to this world than just material reality. So there was that experience which had a profound impact on me. And then growing up in the 80s in the UK, there was a TV show called Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. Arthur C. Clarke was a scientist and science fiction author. He wrote 2001: Space Odyssey, but also was a proper scientist, invented the communication satellite, for instance. And he had a show called Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World, and he would look at unexplained phenomena, such as cryptids, UFOs, for instance, lake monsters, all sorts of weird stuff, but he would do it properly, scientifically, and that just blew my mind. So that put me on this path, which I'm still on this quest to find out what it's all about.
My goodness. And you are a movie maker, you are a documentarian. Explain why you decided to tell UFO stories via film.
Yeah, I mean, the whole film thing is fairly recent. God versus Aliens, which you mentioned, was my first proper documentary on UFOs. And the reason why I got into it is that, I don't know, a lot of people don't know that I'm actually a musician. That's been my trade for the last 25 years, 26 years now, I think. I've been in a band called the Pocket Gods, had my own record label, various deals with Warners and things like that. So I wanted to tell the story of my band, because we had this interesting concept where we were trying to highlight the poor royalties that artists get from music streaming services. And we decided to just write albums of 30-second songs. And we put like 1,000 of these on one album, got a Guinness World Record, press attention. And it was an interesting story, so I wanted to put that onto a film, which I did. And but then I think I really enjoyed making films. It's a good way of telling your story in a deep way. So my next passion, my biggest passion, probably more than music, is UFOs. So that's when I decided to go on that path, which I've been doing now since God versus Aliens.
As you started making films about this, obviously you created a lot of attention for yourself. You've met a lot of people over in the UK and in North America who are heavily involved with trying to bring disclosure forward, bring this story out to the public. In your opinion, why is it important for everyday people listening into a show like this to have this UFO story out? Why is this important to people?
Because most people go through their lives just, struggling with material existence, reality, paying their bills, going to work, things like that. But actually, there's something bigger alongside us, I believe, and something more to life than just the physical slog, and most likely something else after we die. I don't think it's the biggest secret that's been kept, really. And I think we deserve to know the truth, that there is this intelligence, I believe, that interacts with us, lives alongside us, I think. And that's the biggest secret, which, Trump calls it the deep state, for instance, has kept, it locked away, compartmentalized. And it's possibly this, exotic anti-gravity technology, something that could possibly change, our planet's future. And that needs to be out in the open for us all to benefit from, not hidden away for private contractors to try and monetize and, make profit out of.
Wow. Wow. Do you think that there is a danger to society about this topic, about the potential of ET life coming here? Now, many of us already believe they are here, but do you think that there is a danger?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. However, I think we need to just step back a bit. From all the research that I've done, all the people I've spoken to over the last 30 years, I don't think there's one specific answer for what UFOs are, for instance. And that's the trouble with disclosure. The US government, for instance, will probably just disclose there's one thing, whereas the reality of the phenomena is that, in my opinion, it's extraterrestrial, it's interdimensional, maybe time traveling, and maybe just our own advanced technology. There's all these. There's no one single answer for it, and that's difficult for the public to get its head around. So, which is why President Trump probably won't get up and make his speech and say, "Well, this phenomena. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's a bit weird, and there's different explanations for it." And one of those is possibly some of the species, whatever you want to call them, could be a threat to us. However, I balance that with the fact that, like with all life here on Earth, for instance, most people are good. Most people do good things on a daily basis. But there is light and dark in the universe, yin and yang. There's always a dark element somewhere. So yeah, there could be a threat, to answer your question.
Have we seen evidence of that so far?
Possibly, yeah. Just in terms of certain people who get too close to this entities, whatever, disappearing or being silenced. Maybe research scientists, UFO researchers. I think there is an element to that, and that it can. I mean, I spoke to a UFO researcher yesterday called Philip Kinsella in the UK, and he's been researching, going back into the ancient spiritual texts such as the Gnostic Bibles and Nag Hammadi and things like that. And he refers to these entities called the archons, the archons, and they're the ones that have the dark element to them, and possibly they've been used and been using people and can drive people, I guess for want of a better word, crazy, suck them into this dark, deep rabbit hole, and which they never come out of fully. So there is a massive mental health element to this, and people who get into researching it and can't get out. But I don't want to give a negative fear approach to this, because I believe that to keep with the light in the universe, the good, you could call it God, whatever, you need to not be in fear mode, to go towards the light, to raise your vibration. This is where the good stuff is in terms of consciousness. And we have to realize that the UFO phenomenon is not just a physical thing about crafts and species. It's a psychic phenomena, and it's to do with consciousness. And a lot of people who do CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, will tell you that this is real. And even just yesterday, there's a video on my YouTube page at the King of UFOs. I've been doing a lot of press interviews in the UK, which is great. The mainstream in the UK is starting to take it a little bit more seriously, which is great. And so it's been on my mind. I've been talking about it. I've been deep diving into the US files, finding some amazing stuff. So, my mind is constantly on it at the moment. And me and my wife were sat in the garden just yesterday in the shade because it's been really hot over here, which is unusual. And she saw something in the sky. And it was like, it started off as an orb, and it was kind of shape-shifting into letters, C and then an L. And then I took a photograph, zoomed in, and it was like a triangle. And there's a bit of video as well, and that's weird. So was that just coincidence, or was that possible craft appearing because, my mind is completely focused on it? Was it a message? Am I receiving something? I don't know. I'm just, I thought the timing of it was interesting.
For you, as we talked to Mark Christopher Lee here, documentarian out of the UK, for you being a part of this and watching it unfold, the last couple of weeks has been very busy in the UFO world with the drop of the first 163 file tranche, and then we got 222 files in the second tranche. How do you feel about what's coming out right now?
Yeah, I feel like it's ramping up into even bigger reveal. I think they're kind of preparing the waters for the non-UFO people, which is what this is about, really. And I think there's an element that Trump wanted to shore up a little bit of his MAGA base. So, and this, for him is a bit of a vote winner. But also, I think seriously, he wants to pee off the deep state and to get to the truth. And he's promised he would do that. And I think he's getting pushed back, which is why we haven't seen the really good stuff, that the holy crap stuff that Tim Burchett has talked about. But I think there's some amazing stuff in there. And what, I know there's a lot of people out there trying to debunk all the videos, but we have to realize that these videos have been uploaded and released as unexplained. Most of them are taken by military personnel on their craft, flare, camera images, infrared. It's, they would have already possibly tried to debunk it and not put that stuff up there. They put the stuff that can't be explained, which is, there's an interesting one taking over Syria, which is about the instant acceleration. So you see this craft and just moving along, and suddenly it just zips away at impossible speeds. And then, they've marked that video instant acceleration. So we have to assume they know what they're talking about. Otherwise, there's a whole other conspiracy going on of them just trying to distract us from something else. So I believe there's some really good stuff in there. And what not many UFO commentators have pointed out so far is that the location of a lot of these is in the Middle East. And you could say, oh, maybe that's because of, the US military being over there and a lot of conflict taking place. We have to realize this is the cradle of civilization. This is supposedly where humanity evolved from. But we're seeing all these amazing UFO sightings, videos from this area. Is that a coincidence? Or is the phenomena coming home? Is already there? We just see it more there? I don't know. I just think we need to keep probing away and waiting for the next file drop, I guess.
I was going to bring that up with you about how the majority of the videos that are coming out are from the Middle East and, Southern Europe, Asia, Africa. This topic had been so much fear put into it about trying to protect the sky over the United States. And here all the videos, or the majority of them, I should say, are from different countries. I mean, did that catch you off guard at all?
No, I don't think so, because obviously I speak to UFO researchers all over the world, and there's an incredible guy, check him out on X, called Paul Stonehill, a Russian UFO researcher, and he will tell you there's, it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just the US, because there was some British commentator I was on TV with who was arguing that all UFO encounters are in America because Americans see these things and it's all part of their psyche and culture. And I think, no, it's not true. It's, obviously the American military files, there's going to be a lot in America. And it's interesting, there's quite a lot over the nuclear weapons places. There's always that nuclear connection. But the same nuclear connection is all over the world. It's not just in the US. And as soon as the first files dropped, I was searching for Rendlesham Forest, the 1980 incident that I've made a film about and researched extensively, because I'm hoping there's going to be files about Rendlesham Forest. And for your viewers and listeners, Rendlesham Forest happened in 1980 in the UK, but it was on twin American US air bases as part of NATO. So, and also Lou Elizondo, ex-head of ATIP, said in a recent X Q&A, he was asked about Rendlesham Forest and said, yes, he knows what happened, and there are files on Rendlesham that are going to be released. So that's quite exciting for a UK perspective, but also shows that, like you say, UFOs are not just North American, they're worldwide. And this is the only issue I had with the information that I got about the Trump UFO disclosure speech, "We are not alone," etc. Because I was told by my source that Trump had been given clearance by the Chinese and Russians to make this speech, which you might think, how is that possible? I know, obviously, relations between both countries are a bit strange at the best. So, and would they allow Trump to take all the credit for, what would be the biggest event of our civilization? So, yeah, interesting times.
Do you think then, you've said a number of things in there that are quite appealing and everything. Do you think then that, places like Rendlesham or incidents like Rendlesham or Roswell or anything else will be brought out, that we will actually learn about these files over the next little bit here?
Yeah, I do hope so. Like I say, I think, and what I've been told is that it's leading up to this, to the fact that, yes, there are alien bodies, biologics, and there is proper documented photographic video evidence of these crashes. But then my skeptical head gets on, especially with the UFO crashes and things like that. I never got my head around my UFOs crash. I just don't understand it. If they're coming from deep space, travel light years, and then somehow just, fall apart on the Earth as they enter our atmosphere, seems a bit unrealistic. So is there something else going on? Like I said, I don't think there's one simple answer to UFOs, and we have to be open to that. So possibly maybe the crashes that have happened are not necessarily extraterrestrial, but maybe us testing our own technology based on recovered technology. But then I guess it would have to have crashed or landed somewhere for us to get that technology. I just don't think there's easy answers, and that's, I guess, why they're doing it in stages, like tranches, different files, rather than just one big, disclosure dump where it just freaks the whole world out. So I think that's why we're leading up to it, and there's been talk quite a lot of that Trump has been, his administration has been speaking with religious leaders to prepare them for the shock of disclosure. And, I alluded to this way back in 2023 with God versus Aliens film.
Hold that thought, Mark. We are going to come back after the break here in just a little bit. Mark Christopher Lee. Once we pay some bills around here, we will be able to get back to the UFO story. I want to find out how Mark Christopher Lee actually got into the UFO subject with disclosure the way it's happening right now. All right, my friend, we are clear. We got about 4.5 minutes. Remember that our YouTube and podcast audience can hear us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
And I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
For sure.
And thanks. Was it Paramar for sharing all my links? Appreciate that.
Yes. He's very good that way. Very good that way.
Yeah, and if your listeners have got questions, or they can email me or reach out, that's fine. I'm always happy talking about stuff. We can see you too. It's good. Just
what time is it there right now? 5:30 or 6:30?
5:30.
Oh, you're a trooper, my friend.
Well, the last time we spoke, it was winter, so it was pitch black, freezing cold. Whereas we've had a heat wave over here, and it's summer, so it's been a nice morning. So it's been nice to get up. So thank you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Snow's been gone here for about a month and a half.
Right, is that all?
About that. Maybe a month. Yeah. Where are we? End of May? Yeah, about a month and a half now. The snow has been gone, which is nice.
That is nice. And that conference you're doing sounds fun.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. You know? Oh, warming up the throat. Very nice. Very nice.
There's my pot of coffee.
I'm on tea.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. I want to ask you so many questions right now, but I'm just holding off until we're back on the air. I don't want to ruin it.
No, of course not. No, happy to.
You know, so because I'm that guy. I used to do that. Like during the break, I'd continue the conversation, and then I would be like, "Damn it, why did I say that during the break where nobody could hear it on the radio side?"
Yeah,
like ruining it for myself.
People are asking if I'm a British MI5 agent. No. But then that's what a MI5 agent would say. So there's no way to answer that question, is there?
Right?
Yes, I am a secret agent. No. Stop pounding the desk. Is that me? Yorkshire tea is popular in the UK. Yeah. I am actually from Yorkshire, Scouse 9. So I do like Yorkshire tea. So you admit it that I am a secret? No. Darjeeling. I like Earl Grey.
I'm on the Earl Grey right now.
Oh, that's good. One of my I'm teetotal now, so I don't drink alcohol anymore. But one of my treats, I like to get good coffees and teas, and there's this shop in London called Fortnum and Mason's. It's an amazing place. Goes back to 1700s. It's in Piccadilly.
Right.
It's quite expensive, obviously, and it's where the royal family go and stuff. But it's a really cool place, and it's got some amazing teas and coffees and foods, and yeah. It's the
Oh, nice.
one luxury I do get sometimes.
Well, keep it pumping, my friend.
Mhm.
Keep it pumping.
What's going on?
We got about 45 seconds. Big thank you to Necessary Dialogue, Mel WD40, and Little Cam for the super chats tonight. They really help out what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. And JMJ12, how you doing? Nice to see you. Gorber, nice to have you back. And who else do we have here? The Fifth World, welcome to SOR chat. Make sure you put your questions in capital letters. I will get to some of them in hour number 2. Missing anybody here? I don't think so. Caged on the inside. Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Our guest tonight, Mark Christopher Lee, will be with us momentarily. But first, want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Documentarian, movie maker, musician, author. This guy does it all. Mark Christopher Lee made news just a few months ago saying that Donald Trump was going to be the disclosure president. And he started backing it up. And even though he hasn't stepped up to the podium yet, Trump has admitted that we got aliens somewhere. He just doesn't believe in them. Welcome back, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, enjoying the show.
How did this whole story begin in late February for you?
It started actually back in January when I was contacted by someone who'd seen my interviews in various newspapers, and they had this information that, yeah, they were from Washington, and they had this knowledge that Donald Trump had already prepared a disclosure speech, basically saying we are not alone, and have been given authority to deliver this speech by the world leaders. And I know that other UFO researchers and podcasters were given the same information, but they chose not to go public. But I thought it was the right thing to do. It was a credible source, in my opinion, and I think the public deserved to know. And I realized I could take a bit of heat for it if it didn't unfold. So that's why I decided to go public with it. And yeah, it's starting to be vindicated now a little bit. But my point was, I wasn't trying to gain materially from this. I thought the public deserves to know the truth. I wasn't monetizing this by sticking it on a YouTube channel or waiting for the right opportunity to put it out there, which I think a lot of people do in this world, unfortunately. I'm passionate about finding this truth. It's my mission, my crusade, and this is what I'm doing.
The timeline was kind of interesting about this. Mm-hmm. And we were following it closely on this show, because shortly after you came out, you started taking a lot of heat online. And then Laura Trump came out, pretty much confirmed what you had said.
Yeah, that was like a wow moment for me, because I was like getting cold feet a little bit, but obviously I was taking a lot of flack, and people say, "Oh, it's just rubbish," and usual UFO researcher trying to, gain out of this, which was not true at all. The only people who were gaining out of it were people making videos about me on their monetized YouTube channels, which I thought was quite ironic. But yeah, then Laura Trump came out. She came out twice actually and said about this speech. Yeah, my father-in-law, yeah, he's got this speech ready and he talks about UFOs and we've had this chat. So it's like, wow. But it was kind of kickstarted. The whole thing was Obama, kind of dropping himself in it a little bit, talking about Area 51 and not having alien bodies there. And then obviously Trump responded to that, saying he was giving official secrets away. And then it kind of escalated from there, saying he was going to release the files. So it was like, it's been this crazy roller coaster of a year. And I know this sounds a bit crazy and a bit out there, but one of the reasons why I went public with it is that, I genuinely believed, I just knew in my heart that it was going to happen. And I can't quantify that as a scientist. And, for your viewers and listeners, I've got a science degree. I went to university. I did environmental science. So I'm quite grounded as a person. But then I felt it in the core of my being that President Trump was going to do UFO disclosure, basically, which made kind of no sense if you look about history and how each president has failed to do that. Obama kind of got a little bit close. Clinton maybe had a few hints, but no one would go there, maybe because of fear of the deep state. But obviously we know Trump, love him or loathe him, he hates the deep state, whatever that is. So I just knew every ounce of my being that this is going to happen. It's going to happen this year. So there you go.
It didn't catch you off guard at all that everything that you had said had kind of been falling into place?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, because there was always a part of me that the scared part was thinking that's not going to happen. I'm looking a bit stupid and this is my career over. Not that, that's the end of the world. So there was a little bit like that. And then Laura Trump coming along, and that was like, wow, that's amazing. And then more people came out to confirm this, and from various other sources. And then with the UFO file release, it's like, well, yeah, he's backing it up, and it is leading up to something. And there will be, I can tell you now, there will be a speech. I don't know exactly when, but most likely be this year, possibly in July during the World Cup. That would be a great world event to announce this, I guess. So watch this space.
There were rumors going around and a lot of speculation that one of your sources to all this was former Skinwalker Ranch owner Robert Bigelow. How true is that?
Yeah, I can't really talk about that. All I can say in a roundabout way is that it's very territorial, the UFO world. I'm just some smart ass guy from the UK, and that's all I say on this. You can read into that what you want or not, but I know that there is a speech, and I know that it's going to happen fairly soon.
I can understand protecting a source. As a journalist with a journalism background, I get that, and I can completely respect that. Were you at all with your source? Were you at all wondering whether or not it was a red herring or whether there was truth to it?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I did, and I did think maybe I'm being fed disinformation to put out there. So that the rational part of me was thinking, yeah, because I know it's happened before, and people like ex-friend of mine, Nick Pope, who sadly passed away recently. He was the Ministry of Defense UFO person for a long time. I spoke to him a lot about this, and people would put out disinformation to UFO researchers all the time. And the famous proponent of this allegedly was Richard Doty, who some of your viewers and listeners might know. And he recently tried this with basically me and fellow UFO researchers. We tried to basically, I mean, it's quite an interesting story, and it's all been documented on X, and there's other researchers will back me up on this. But Richard Doty used to work for the US military, I think it was the Air Force, specifically putting out disinformation to UFO researchers, and which led to someone's tragic death, basically. And he's been trying to get back into the UFO community in the last couple of years, reaching out to people like myself, Matt from UFOs around the world. And we did a live TikTok with him just to get his side of the story, because we'll speak to anyone. And in that live TikTok, he was saying how he, as a disinformation agent, basically recruited Lou Elizondo from ATIP to put out disinformation about UFOs. Okay, so that was a big story. We put that out on X, and then Richard Doty basically was accusing us of lying, making it up. Little did he realize that we obviously kept the live recording, which showed him telling this outlandish claim, because, it's a claim at the end of the day, there's nothing to back it up. But it just goes to show that there was still a former agent, or probably still an agent, trying to feed disinformation to UFO researchers. But obviously we were clued up to it a little bit. Obviously we still got the recording, which we can put out there, that shows Richard Doty said these words, that he tried to recruit Lou Elizondo as a disinformation agent. So yeah, obviously I was aware that this stuff goes on. But, again, it's not rational, it's not scientific, but I had a feeling, and I always trust my instincts, that this was the right thing to do, and it was going to happen. And, when I've trusted my instinct before, it's worked well. You can call it a message from the universe, synchronicity, whatever. I believe these things are real. There's a higher intelligence. There's intelligence higher than us that can tell us that we're on the right lines. And that's what I think is happening here.
Has anybody from the Trump family reached out to you to talk about this because of what you seem to know? And you went public. Lara Trump followed up on her podcast about it. Even though she didn't mention your name, she was alluding to your information that was released. Has anybody close to Trump reached out to you about this?
No, I am happy to talk, but no. And I think this is where it kind of gets territorial with the UFO world, is that I'm some smart ass British guy at the end of the day. So no.
The speech that Trump has allegedly had prepared, did you receive a copy of it?
No. There was someone, I was given the gist of what would be in it, but it's just, you could probably make the speech up yourself. But no, I haven't seen, although people have been in touch on X to say that they've seen a copy and posted it up, but that possibly could be an AI fake.
Right.
Because like with all these things, it just gets,
you said that you were shown given a gist of what it would be about. What is that gist?
Well, basically it'd be something alluding to Roswell, and that we have recovered craft and beings. That would be the mainstay of it. And that, we are not alone. That's as much information as I was given, but also there would be a spiritual element to it that were people would be questioning their faith, and that was the interesting part for me, because that was why. I mean, basically, that was why this person contacted me, because the film that I made, God versus Aliens, which went to Cannes Film Festival, that was exploring this idea of, going through the old biblical text, and we interpreted angels and things in the skies as, divine messengers or beings, where in fact they were most likely extraterrestrial, interdimensional, whatever you want to call them. And I was putting it out there, and it was quite a out there film at the time, because people weren't really talking about it. But, because, I am a Christian, I'm with a small c, I guess. And I made no shame of putting that out there. And so this person knew that I was coming from a good place in terms of that. And this was my beliefs. And that's why we had that conversation. And there was another thing going on with the Vatican as well. And a friend of mine who's an author and researcher, and was getting me access to the Vatican archives, looking for UFO work, UFO images, documents, anything historical that's in those archives, which is basically just a massive library, really. We call it archives, but secret, which means private, really, not open to the public. So, but he'd already been in researching one of his books on secret societies, and that's how he got access. But then, we knew each other talking about UFOs, and that's where that interest came from. And then I went kind of public regarding the Vatican's interest in all this. So that was out there as well, which is why this person was interested in giving me this information, I believe. Sorry, it's a bit long-winded, but there we go.
At the time when this is happening for you, because I know in different contexts it's happened to me before. Okay, but were you feeling overwhelmed, like, wow, what truly is going on here?
A little bit, but it felt real. It felt natural. It felt like instinctually good, and this was going to happen, and it was the right path to go down. I can't explain that scientifically, but it was a little bit overwhelming, but it was like, wow, this is amazing, and this is going to happen, and this is maybe my part to play in all this.
Right.
And I was quite happy to step away, which I kind of done a little bit, and it's all unfolding. It's not my story. That's the thing. Maybe I'll make a film about it, but it's not my story.
Whose story is it?
Well, it's the world's story. It's humanity's. That's the key to it.
But that story usually needs a voice. Do you not see yourself as the voice?
No, not particularly, no. And I think one of the important parts, what's going to happen next, because, okay, we've got all this talk about the UFOs files coming out, the Trump speech. Spielberg's got his film called Disclosure Day coming out soon. But what's important to me is the day after disclosure. We're going to need leaders to step up, political leaders, religious leaders, practical leaders. All these people are going to need to step up and create vision and a roadmap for us navigating what's going to be a bit weird.
Right.
And even financial leaders, because there could be crash at the banks and run on the stock exchange, whatever. These things could easily happen. So there's going to be some stability, and people are going to have to step up. And I've talked about possibly King Charles having a role to play, because he's apolitical to some extent. I know he's the royal family, but head of the Commonwealth, head of the Church of England, so he's got a big reach and a big, mostly respected. Obviously there's black sheeps in the royal family, not mentioning too many names, but I think he's deep down is a good person and a spiritual person, and the sort of person we're going to need to help us navigate, and wouldn't pee off too many people. President Trump, I'm not going to get political. You love him or you hate him. There's no in between, really. But he's doing important work, I think, at the moment. But we're going to need leaders that are going to unite people, and that's the key to it for me.
Do you think UFOs can unite people?
Yeah, I mean, your intro kind of quoted Reagan, didn't it? With his quote about having a universal threat which could unite us all. There's that element to it, but then I believe there's more of a benign element to this phenomena, possibly a higher level of consciousness. So it could be a complete game changer, which helps us all raise our vibration and consciousness levels to a higher level where we are more together, more harmonious than we currently are. I mean, I don't know. I think we have to be humble enough to admit, I don't know all the answers. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's going to be profound paradigm shifts, that we haven't seen since like Galileo, I guess, but probably more than that. But then you also temper that with, well, people still got to go to work, pay the bills, pay the rent. Is it going to help with that? And that's the question I always get asked. I don't know is the answer.
Yeah, I don't know either, as we got about 3 minutes to go before we have to go to break. At the top of the hour, documentarian Mark Christopher Lee is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Let me ask you this before we go to break. The sources that you have built, how many people have come up to you, behind the scenes, maybe people you didn't expect to hear from, and ask you, how did you get this news? How did you know what was going on?
Yeah, no, I've had, literally hundreds of people get in touch, asking me. So it's that's been a bit overwhelming, to be perfectly honest. And I've received a lot of hate, and some things that you could construe as threatening in terms of emails and from mysterious sources, which could just be cranks or could be real. I don't know. So you have to stay grounded, because I think getting close to the phenomena, you have to be grounded in reality. Plant yourself in your family life, your work, enjoy nature, and don't get too fixated with it. And this is why I don't see it as my story. It's, I feel like I'm maybe part of the story in terms of, getting the message out there, but I'm happy to step away and make my new film about something else.
You ever feel like you're being vindicated now for the amount of heat you took from February through May?
Yeah, a little bit, definitely. Yeah, but then I kind of, like I said, keep saying, I knew it was going to happen. So it was like, what can I say? I know it's going to happen. I feel it, so it's instinctual.
Has it been worth it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. The only thing, I guess, maybe less time on social media would have been good, and not reading every comment.
Man, I saw what you were taking, and I got to be honest with you, I felt bad for you.
Yeah.
I really felt bad for you, because you couldn't have been comfortable.
No, not at all. And you've got to be wary of impacting on your mental health, really. So yeah, less time on social media. That's the thing I take away from it.
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you for that, because I mean, it was haywire. I mean, people who don't even know you calling you every name under the sun, and you're like, hey, get to know me before you call me those names. But Mark, we're going to continue the UFO story with you. What are your favorite parts of the so far the two tranches that have come down in the UFO world from Arrow and the United States government? Mark Christopher Lee is here for another hour. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, my friend, we have about 5.5 minutes. We're just going to play a video here, okay?
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right. Thank you very much. We have Mark Christopher Lee back with us, and we're going to get going here in about 30 seconds. Want to say thank you to our super chatters tonight. Necessary Dialogue, Mel WD40 and Little Cam. Sorry if I sound a little bit off tonight. I am battling major allergies right now, so it's kind of kicking the crap out of me today. Hopefully tomorrow night I sound better. KJM, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you in our chat room tonight. And we are caught up. We're coming back, Mark, in 5 seconds. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're talking about the UFO files. We have Mark Christopher Lee all the way from the UK on with us here, hanging on out. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Tenebros. Tenebros is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Documentarian, musician, a gentleman who is very well known in the UFO community in the United Kingdom. Mark Christopher Lee is here. We're talking about the disclosure movement right now. What is happening in the UFO world? Mark, we mentioned it in hour number 1 briefly about the 2 tranches that have been released already here going the last couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on those files that have been released so far?
Yeah, I've been impressed. I know there's a lot of people out there trying to debunk a lot of it, but I think the debunkers are getting a little bit desperate. There's a couple of things that jumped out to me that we've already talked about. The Middle Eastern connection, which I find quite significant. Birthplace of civilization. Is that a coincidence, or is there something going on there? Is that why there's such an interest by the US in this area? Not just the oil. Is there something else there? I don't know, perhaps. But the other thing that kind of jumped out is, in the second batch was documents relating to US pilots in the Second World War encountering these mysterious orbs called Foo Fighters. And they're a fascinating phenomena to me. These, it's been well documented, been thousands of sightings by American and British Allied pilots in the Second World War flying over Germany, and they've encountered these like plasma balls of light that were tracking the planes, doing impossible maneuvers. and that, you know, so there's that from the Second World War, and then there's various orbs videos that have been released in these tranches that can't be explained. You know, these orbs kind of traveling very close to the water, possibly going even into the water, kind of going in and out of phase and changing, shape shifting. So the whole orb phenomena, which people think is quite recent, with people doing CE5 and all this, Jake Barber, etc. But, you know, goes back to, you know, at least the Second World War and these Foo Fighters. So that kind of connects it a little bit. But what are they? What are these Foo Fighters? What are these plasma balls of light? Is it something extraterrestrial? And why was it buzzing pilots? You know, it didn't crash or anything, but they were doing something to distract the pilots. Was it secret Nazi technology that some have alluded to? They had this highly advanced technology which they were testing out in the Second World War, and which after the Second World War, when Hitler was defeated, Operation Paperclip came into force, and then the Russians and the Americans basically went in and nabbed all the best scientists to carry on the research. And we know what happened with America and Werner von Braun, NASA space race, etc. So is there something going on there? Because there's been a lot of files also released relating to the Apollo missions, astronauts' testimony, a lot of which can't be explained. Some of it is light refractions and things like that. But there is a lot of anomalies seen in space by the astronauts when there shouldn't be anything out there. So, like I said before, I think we're leading up to something bigger being revealed, maybe in the next tranche of files, and then possibly a speech, followed by here's the bodies, here's the biological entities. We are not alone. Wow, that would be amazing.
The NASA files are the ones that really kind of catch my attention because they have been in denial towards the public on this for years, even though already a lot of those files were public. Okay, not all of them, but some of them were public. And to hear about Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on Apollo 11, you know, having encounters, hearing about, you know, Apollo 17 with Gene Cernan having multiple encounters going on. I think it, you know, I wish the media would put some pressure on Congress and on NASA, asking them why all the lies, why all the cover up. You know, for years they denied everything. They even did that study, Mark. If you remember, a couple of years ago, they spent $100,000, which is chump change to them. $100,000 of taxpayer money to bring in all of these scientists to search through their files to see if they had anything hidden. And they basically made it like a joke, like, we didn't find anything. You know, you guys must be high. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? Is that because Trump has forced their hand, I guess, making them release and admit basically they've been lying. And I spoke to a great researcher a few years back called, what's his name? Richard C. Hoagland. And he wrote a book, quite hard to get hold of, called Dark Mission. And he wrote it with Mike Barra, who people might recognize from Ancient Aliens. But this goes back to the origins of NASA, and it's quite dark, occult origins. And he claims that basically it was set up to keep secrets, and there's so much that they found out that they just kept in the dark and has been, you know, put out of the public domain, never to be released, but possibly is going to be released now. And, you know, this alleges to possible structures on the moon, possibly inside the moon, and things like that. And that's, like we're getting to here now, that they've encountered things that shouldn't be there in space. And it's all been covered up. And I can't remember, there was some whistleblower that did come out, some woman who worked at NASA.
Donna Hare.
Yeah, you probably know the story better than me. And she was claiming that, they were actively airbrushing out these things that they were photographing. And it's like, yeah, that's amazing. But why are they doing it? Why is the secret so dark that the public's not allowed to know this? So
what do you think they know? Like, whether it's NASA, whether it's the Department of Energy, anybody at the Pentagon with the alphabet agencies, what do you think they know? What is the big secret, in your opinion?
There has been some sort of life on the moon. Maybe it's still there inside it. And I think it's got something to do with Mars. And actually, I had a chat last week with Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard, who I know quite well. I know he's quite notorious for his 3-eye atlas theories and all this, but he's a great guy, and he's actually, a proper scientist looking for evidence of life out there coming here. But he was pretty adamant that life here on Earth was seeded from Mars. He's a proper scientist, and he's gone on record to say this, that life on this planet was most definitely seeded from Mars, that there was some life, maybe not advanced civilization, but seeded, Earth, basically, panspermia theory. And I'm just thinking, what is the moon's role in all of this? Was that involved as well? And is that what NASA's keeping secret? It's found evidence of this, Mars civilization on the moon, possibly. I mean, Richard C. Hoagland was talking about this. But is there a dark element to it, which is why NASA won't release it? I mean, again, I don't know. I don't have the answers, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe we will get to the truth.
That is the hard part, is trying to figure out what the truth is, because I often wonder, and I tend to believe from people who I have talked to, that the big cover up right now isn't so much UFOs as it is more about trying to cover up their own technology that has been maybe described as UFOs for many, many years. If you look at Lockheed Skunk Works and you think that they have been hiding technology from us and allegedly are 50 to 100 years more advanced than what we know, that says a lot.
It does, yeah. I mean, and this ties in with the Germans and the Nazis idea that they had these Foo Fighters, these advanced plasma energy balls. They were working on UFO technology. These scientists were taken to the US, New Mexico, White Sands, stuck in a really remote area. And they were working alongside NASA. Obviously got Werner von Braun, the space race going on, but also other secret technology involving anti-gravity propulsion, maybe making flying saucers. And it's been documented that the CIA was using flying saucers as a cover story for the U-2 spy plane, for instance. That's well documented. So that kind of muddies the waters a little bit. So, which is why I've said at the beginning, there's no one explanation for UFOs: extraterrestrial, interdimensional, time travelers, and our own technology. And I think you're spot on. And the more I've researched Rendlesham Forest, the 1980 incident, the more I'm now thinking what happened in 1980 at Rendlesham Forest was not a UFO, as a craft that came down, but was the British and Americans testing out some joint projects that Thatcher and Reagan were working on, which was to do with exotic technology, highly advanced physics, because ever since, we split the atom bomb, that's where physics has been going, but it's been kept really, really secret. So I think that's possibly what was happening at Rendlesham Forest. And there's a great researcher called Professor Simon Holland, who's done a lot of work on this. And he's pointed out that Rendlesham Forest, the location of it, there was 2 secret research facilities, one on radar, one on other scientific stuff, really, nearby. And Rendlesham Forest is bang smack in the middle. And possibly they were testing something out with the aim that they would see what effect it would have on the US servicemen. They were unaware of this test. So is this what's going on in the US as well? So do we have our own flying saucers, for instance, craft, exotic propulsion? There's been a lot of the sightings. Is there also extraterrestrials visiting? Is there also entities that are coming in from other dimensions of reality? So this is why it's a complicated subject, in my opinion. It's not just about easy sound bites. It's, it's deep, some of it's dark, and we have to admit, will we ever get to the actual truth? I don't know. We can try, and it's my mission, I guess, but we have to be wary that there are forces out there that probably don't want you to get to that truth.
We have 7 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Mark Christopher Lee is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Mark, as we kind of look towards the next tranche coming out, which we don't know when it will be released. It could be in a week. It could be in 2 weeks. It could be in 6 months from now. We really don't know. Do you think with this momentum going on that it would benefit keep these files moving out?
Yeah. I think there could be another file dump in a couple of weeks with more documents and videos, but I think it's leading up to something. I know I'll stand by this, that there will be some big announcement by President Trump, basically saying we are not alone. That will happen. Whether it's going to happen after the next tranche of files or the one after that, I don't know. But various members of Congress have alluded to a deep state pushback. And we could be alluding to, like you said, Lockheed Martin, people that have this technology, they want to keep it secret. It's immune from freedom of information requests because it's in the private sector. So why should they deliver up all their files if it's, if it's their property, I guess. But I think we have to take into account as well that the Spielberg film Disclosure Day coming out. And Spielberg said, it's just coincidence, it's not related. But then he's also said that, the things that he's put on in the film are based on real events, real experiences. So is that coincidence? I don't know. Who knows?
Who do you think, or what group do you think is holding back? We keep hearing about the deep state. That's a very broad term. What do you mean by that?
I think there's a couple of things going on. The deep state you could allude to, like I've said, there's a small group of people that know the actual truth, maybe just a handful. This is what I've been told. And then it's compartmentalized out, whereas people don't know the full picture. Bob Lazar kind of alluded to this when he said he worked at S4 at Area 51. Whatever he was doing, I'm pretty sure he worked there. And that's the way it's been operating, is that it's been heavily compartmentalized. No one can see the bigger picture apart from a handful of people. And this is what the president is trying to get to, the handful of people that know this secret. You can call it the deep state, but also this pushback from elements within the Pentagon. And I talked about this in my God versus Aliens film. There's supposedly this secret organization in the Pentagon called the Collins Elite.
Yes.
Which is actually based out of Wright-Patterson, I think. And they're the ones that are supposedly controlling this, and they don't want the truth about UFOs ever released to the public because there is a demonic element to them. So it's the heavily evangelical wing in the Pentagon, the Collins Elite. They're controlling this agenda of what's allowed to be released because they fear of unleashing fear that, you know, the devil is in our skies. And they use this passage from Ephesians, I think it is, in the Bible, where these, you know, and there's things about this passage about Lucifer, Satan in the sky, and anything flying around unknown as, you know, one of his minions. So yeah, I don't think this situation is easy, and it's complicated. And President Trump doesn't care about stuff like that. He just wants, you know, this is what I want to do. I'm in charge. You know, do what I say, kind of thing. And that's how he operates. I want these things, and that's what's going on. So, in my opinion.
When do you think the speech is going to happen?
I mean, I'd say July, possibly the Soccer World Cup, maybe. This big global event. All eyes will be on America. That would be my guess. That feels right to me.
What do you think, if he does do it, what do you think he hopes to gain from it? Because the one thing that has never really been released about this subject is the why now question. Why now, you know, after 70 plus years of cover up, thinking that, you know, nobody would care if we just covered this up. We don't have to give up any stories, you know, don't ask, don't tell type of policy. Why do you think it is important now that this story is coming up?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I've been told, and I don't necessarily believe this because it's even a bit out there for me, but I've been told that Trump has had meetings with extraterrestrials about this, which sounds a bit out there. Maybe they're orchestrating it a little bit. I don't know. I think it would serve President Trump's quest for immortality. If he was this disclosure president, he would seal his legacy, and it would, you know, suit his ego, I guess. So I think
the UFO story really started in his first term as president, not really where he's.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but why now? Yeah, that's a really good question, and I don't have any good answers, unfortunately.
Nobody has a good answer for that because it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Because, like you say, why didn't he do it in his first term? But then I guess politically and psychologically with Trump, he knows that, you know, this is his last term. He's not getting any younger, and he wants to, you know, cement some sort of legacy. And I guess this is one way of doing it, in a massive way. You know, that's the only thing I can think of.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Mark, because when we return, we're going to continue this amazing conversation about disclosure, whether or not it's good for humanity, whether or not it is something that we need. We can't figure out the reason why. Nobody is giving out that answer as to why now, but we sure as heck can keep pushing. And that's what we are doing. Mark Christopher Lee is a documentarian, an author, a musician, very much involved in the UK UFO world. This is Spaced Out Radio. We'll be back right after this.
Listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Mark, we are back quickly here. Hello to Cluster. How are you? Thanks for coming on in. Zen Taurus, welcome to SOR chat. And who else do we have? I think we're caught up. That's it. I think we're caught up. Oh, there's Fap Nuts. Yeah, we are caught up. This is going by very, very fast, Mark.
Yeah, that is, isn't it?
If you have any questions for Mark, I will get to some of them in the next half hour. So make sure you put them in capital letters if you're listening in on our YouTube side. KJM, thank you. Appreciate that. So far, my sneezing is holding off. Knock on wood. Feeling awake yet?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm okay when I'm talking, I think. I'm a bit tired, but
Yeah.
it's going to be another hot day here by the looks of it. So, yeah.
What's the temp there right now these days?
Well, yesterday it got up to 34 Celsius, which is that's quite a lot for UK in May.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, it's a bit hot. I actually went to the cinema yesterday. Saw Project Hail Mary. Have you seen that yet?
Not yet. I heard it's amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. Took my kids. They enjoyed it. Will Mark have breakfast next or go back to sleep? Ooh, that's a good question. Someone's asked. Yeah. Might try and get an hour's sleep. But it probably won't happen because I've had coffee as well. So probably have to power through. Which is not good on a hot day.
What are we at here temperature wise?
Heat wave in the UK.
It was chilly today.
Really? Oh.
Last couple of days, it's been kind of chilly here. We're at 10 Celsius.
Gosh.
50 Fahrenheit.
Wow, yeah.
Let's see here. Tomorrow we're supposed to be at the 24, Thursday 26, and then right back into the teens with 15 on the weekend. That's good. I'm okay with 15 to 25. I'm comfortable. Anything over 25, that's just a waste of heat.
Yeah, it's hard to sit out, isn't it? Definitely. Do the Royals have air conditioning? Yes. Yeah, Portsmouth.
We got about a minute 20.
24 Celsius in Denmark. Okay.
Little Benny Larson, how are you? Welcome back. Jeremy Jones, how you doing? Number 44 in your program tonight, starting at left wing from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. You're late today. I'm surprised. He's in Sweden. Morwick, how are you? And we're coming back in 15 seconds. Thank you to Little Cam, Mel WD40, Necessary Dialogue, and KJM for the super chats. I greatly appreciate that. And here we go. We're into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we're going to go right to our guest tonight, Mark Christopher Lee, a movie documentarian on UFOs, and we have been talking disclosure all night long here. And right before we get to some audience questions here, Mark, we were talking about, whether or not this is going to be true disclosure as we speak. What in your mind would convince you that this is true disclosure?
Some sort of physical evidence that has been independently scientifically tested, or President Trump comes out with an ET, unlikely to happen, I guess, and they do the announcement together. That would be good telly, wouldn't it? Good TV, but yeah, definitely some sort of physical proof as opposed to just photographs and videos, which, as we all know, can be looked at many different ways. So it's going to take some sort of hard material scientific evidence, in my opinion.
Right.
Possibly even a craft or something like that. But even then, if they bring out a UFO, for instance, how do we know it's not ours from our own exotic technology development? That's always going to be the key, which is, I guess, if we brought some bodies out, even if they were dead, they could be analyzed and think, okay, they're not human, they're not anything off this planet, there's something else. I guess that would be the proof, but whether we would get that, I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I'm hoping so. But I guess part of me is hoping there's going to be some sort of profound spiritual shift in our consciousness. That's what true disclosure means to me, would be a new beginning for humanity, which sounds a bit religious, a bit weird, but it is moving up to a higher plane of existence, of a reality. That would be amazing, and that would be a game changer, obviously, but I'm not sure we'll get that in July.
Or ever.
No, I don't know. I'm ever hopeful. Maybe I'm a utopian dreamer, but I think, my opinion with all my research that I've done is that, people say, space is the final frontier. I think it's pretty much, it's going to be mind and consciousness that is the final frontier. And that consciousness is not, in the body as such. It's out there in the cloud, in the mental internet. And can be tapped into. And I think that's been kind of, science is getting there to prove that consciousness can be outside the body, and then people have had near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences allude to this, and this kind of will prove that there's something beyond our material bodies, and that life is not just 3D, 4D, but is something else. That's what I believe. But how we get to that conclusion, to that new development, I'm not sure.
You being from the UK, myself being from Canada, the majority of our listeners being from the US, why does this have to be an American announcement? Why couldn't the UK do it? Why couldn't Canada or France or Russia or China do this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, that's why indeed. I guess because there's a lot of experiences in the US. There's a lot of active UFO researchers and people that have had experiences that have been pushing for this for a long time. Whereas I don't think it's true in other countries to some extent. It's not that big an issue. Especially here in the UK, it's even the recent file releases have only got a few lines in the press. It's not a big social thing in other countries like it is in America. It's almost part of the culture, I guess. Maybe because of the everything coming on after Roswell. I think that's what's going on, and possibly because being part of the popular culture, maybe that was put out there by the CIA in terms of disinformation, but then it's kind of created its own force. So people are saying, "Oh, it's the most narcissistic country." That's why. But yeah, but it is a worldwide phenomena, and that needs to be, to seen. I get contacted most days by people who've had sightings, experience, send me their videos. A lot of these are, pilots, military personnel, police officers, but they've got nowhere to go to in the UK, which is why we're pushing for more research from the government, more disclosure from the UK government, because there's nothing going on here. Other countries like China and Russia, I guess UFO researchers have got the difficulties of getting any sort of public exposure with censorship and things like that. So that's part of the issue there, I guess. Other European countries have been quite open about it. Like France has got its own gay pan reporting system. But yeah, I guess the US is still seen, rightly or wrongly, as the main superpower of the world. But for how much longer, who knows? I've lost your vocal there, Dave. I can't hear you.
Yes, we're gonna get to some audience questions here,
Sure.
Mark, and we're gonna start off with Ange in Australia, who is asking, Mark, is your information a knowing or through meditation?
Through knowing, yeah. I do meditation. I think that's helpful to be in tune with the universe, with whatever's out there. That does help, but I know it in my being.
All right, let's get to another one. Let's go to Edwin. What role do you see, Mark, the secret societies playing in the disclosure narrative? Are the societies you're aware of accepting of the phenomena?
Yes, this is a controversial subject. I've just actually made a film. It's called Close Encounters, the Illuminati movie, which kind of looks at this, the role of secret societies and disclosure. And actually talked with Professor Simon Holland, who's got his own great YouTube channel. Some people might know him, but he's the one that first kind of opened my eyes to this fact that certain secret society families have been actively claiming that we're all basically hybrid aliens, and they thoroughly believe that. And this is the Rothschild family, the banking family. And they've also been heavily involved in British science and research, possibly linked to UFO technology as well. So I think there is a connection. I think it's hard to join all the dots up, but I think we have to go back in time a lot if we're talking secret societies, going back to the Gnostic Gospels, going back to Christ, for instance. And basically they're picking up ancient knowledge, which is that your mind can create your own reality. It's basically a bit like the law of attraction. The kingdom of heaven is within. So we've got all this ancient knowledge that secret societies have been passing down, like the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons, and others. Some have been using it for good, but in secret, and others have been using it for nefarious, selfish, getting rich purposes. But I think this ancient knowledge goes back to our own origins, which is possibly some sort of hybrid extraterrestrial influence in our civilization. That's what I think. So I could talk all night about secret societies, but it's a really good question. Thank you.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go next to Super here. Do you think the movie Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg, which is coming out next month, will have a positive effect on real world disclosure?
Yes, I do. I think it'd be a very influential film, both in terms of the public that go to see it. It will get them more interested and open their minds to the fact that there is something out there. And they will start being more observant. They will start looking up. Much like when, the X-Files TV show came out and there's a record number of sightings, basically because people were paying more interest in the skies and seeing things. So it'll help in that way, but also it will have an impact on the governments of the world, and possibly nudge them to be more active and to push for more disclosure. Definitely.
I don't see a movie having that type of impact.
No.
I really don't, because the UFO world is going to be excited because we tend to overblow everything, but we also have to remember that it is a movie. In the end, it is a movie. It's not about to be, something that the UFO world is clamoring to, that this is going to push disclosure forward. At least that's my opinion.
Sure. Yeah. I think it will. And I think Spielberg is connected to more truths than we realize. And I think, I don't know, I haven't seen this movie, but the most profound thing that he did was he was a producer on a TV series called Taken. I don't know if anyone's seen that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the definitive guides to the UFO phenomena, in my opinion. So check that out. Taken.
All right. A couple questions from Goot here in the chat room. Number one, because it's early for you, will you be having breakfast next, or will you go back to sleep?
I might try another hour's sleep. It's getting warm. That's the trouble. So I might power through. And I've had coffee as well to get me going this morning. So thank you for the question.
And a follow-up. Yeah. What about disclosure that some aliens have fought each other too?
Yeah, I don't know, because there is there's a whole story about Dulce Mesa, isn't there, in America, where there was the battle between the aliens underground, and I don't know. I mean, I do, just being honest, I find it difficult to get my head around the whole idea of there being 4 different alien species that are visiting us. I don't know. I have a problem with that. That could just be my problem, but do we really have praying mantis, greys, reptilians, and Nordics? Or is that just pop culture? I don't know. I find that weird.
What do you think about those 4 alien species? I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere, where apparently the United States has contact or body of these mantid beings, the reptilians, the greys, and these humanoid-looking Nordic beings.
Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? But it all sounds a bit Star Trek to me. But it's I don't know, to be honest. I haven't seen any evidence of anything other than possibly a grey aliens. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It does sound a bit bizarre. That's my simple answer. Yeah.
Let's go to hidden files here. We complain about blurry UFOs. So why does the high res footage shown by officials still look the same?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess because a lot of those images that are coming out are infrared or from flare cameras, so they tend to look the same. So technically, even though they're high res, we're looking at an object far away, picking up a heat signature. So I think that's why the ones we're looking at all look the same now. I mean, there is one photo that I saw from Kazakhstan airport. That's a color photo taken on someone's iPhone. It's quite good quality. A little bit of video, I think it is, about 5 or 6 seconds, and it looks a bit Close Encounter of Spielberg. Actually, it's like a white kind of UFO craft in the distance, and the people on the phone are saying, "Oh, that's not a plane." So that was quite compelling. Check that one out.
Let's go to another question here. Or before we do, I want to just mention, one of the big things that I think we're seeing is we're seeing all these FLIR camera footages. We're not getting the real cameras that show the colors and everything. And I think that is part of a big issue that this whole movement may have with the public as the public moves forward. Most of these videos that we are seeing, if not all of them, are like watching a 70s version of Pong, the video game. Where all we see is a dot going through. Now, you or me or somebody else who's been involved in this field for a long time can look at that differently. But if you're trying to sell disclosure to the American public, the UK public, the Canadian public, the world public, you got to go more than just dots.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think because a lot of the objects that are being picked up, some of them physically the eye couldn't see. It's only because it's picking up some sort of a heat signature that it's actually, on camera. So we're looking at something that could be invisible in the skies, basically. So yeah, like you say, how is that any good for the public to see? And that's the issue with the phenomena, especially if you lean towards it being interdimensional in origin. That's a bit difficult to get public to get its head around. We can get used to ET and the grey alien coming to visit the physical body and the hoaxed autopsy videos. We've all seen that and we've been fed that in popular culture, and we can handle creatures coming from another planet. But if it's something weirder that it's phases in and out of reality, comes from other dimensions, sometimes overlaps, it's a little bit paranormal, a little bit woo. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I know. I don't know.
I think that's the quickest way they're going to turn the public out, though.
Sure.
The public is going to want answers. Eventually, they will push for answers. But if they're not getting answers, it's going to be very It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Definitely.
You know, let's go to another question. We got about 5 minutes to go with Mark Christopher Lee tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Let's go to Marv here. Ideally, what would disclosure look like in your opinion, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I guess initially some physical, scientifically verifiable proof of alien life, alien vehicles, with maybe a speech by the president or other world leader like King Charles, and then an independent team of scientists from around the world that has analyzed the bodies, the craft, and they put the results out in full for the public. I guess that's where it starts from. And then maybe further down the line, we have something more profound, more spiritual, which helps humanity. I guess it sounds a bit vague, but
do you want in the disclosure movement, do you want full disclosure or this confirmation that we are getting right now? A lot of people seem to have a hard time breaking it down. They say any disclosure is good disclosure. Whereas for many of us, we're like, well, that's not really true. I mean, do you want a narrative that is controlled, or do you want to know the true answers of what's going on? I think there's a big difference.
I think the only way we'll get the true answers is if there is an independent body that is reviewing and analyzing the evidence that's been put out there. But I think it's going to come to some stage where, at the moment, it seems to be the US acting unilaterally, where it's going to need the Russians, the Chinese, the Europeans, etc., coming out and doing the same thing at the same time. So I don't think it's necessarily just going to be a US thing. I think initially it will be. And there's also a possibility that the Chinese and the Russians will jump the gun and do their own disclosure before President Trump. But, one of your comments there, King Charles would be a good candidate, in my opinion, to oversee all of this.
Well, we're going to see, because in my opinion, if we want true disclosure, we need all the answers. We need to know what happened at Rendlesham. We need to know what happened at Roswell. Did Bob Lazar work at Area 51? And all of these rumors and stories that we have heard for years, that is where I think if we're going to move forward on anything, we need to be able to get to that point. Otherwise, we can't seem to trust the information as much as we want to. We still have to be, to show some sort of discernment with it.
Well, absolutely. And also, we'll have to uncover what happened to people that, have allegedly been silenced to keep this information secret. So that's uncovering some dark truths there that would have to come into it as well. Come clean, absolutely. But would that happen? I don't know.
What's the darkest part of this story?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the secrets and lies and the disinformation that's been put out there on purpose by government agencies. We're talking about the US, definitely the CIA. They've got a lot of dark secrets anyway, and that's the darkest part of it that I've come across. That's going to be hard to make them accountable for, I guess. If there's people been, killed for this, how are they going to justify that?
Right. Mark, tell everybody in the last 20 seconds here where they can find your work.
Okay, yeah, it's Mark Christopher Lee. I'm a filmmaker. A lot of my films are on Amazon Prime or Tubi. On social media, I'm at the King of UFOs, which is one of my films. So I'm on X, King of UFOs, Instagram, King of UFOs, TikTok, King of UFOs. So reach out, send me a message. Always happy to speak to people about their experiences. So thank you.
Mark Christopher Lee, everybody. Swamp Dweller and Robin Haynes are next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Great job, Mark. Thank you very much.
Do I need to stay logged on or anything? Or
Pardon me?
do I need to stay logged on for the show? Or
No, you're done. You can go to bed.
Thanks. I'll give it a go anyway.
All
Thanks,
right,
Dave.
buddy.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Stop now! You are under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
Can't hear.
That's because I had my mic on mute because I was blowing my nose. I've had that happen a couple of times. My allergies are going crazy tonight. Excuse me. All right. Big thank you to our super chatters. We have Lil Cam, Mel, Necessary Dialogue, and KJM. Thank you for your love. Benno, how you doing tonight? Nice to see you. We're coming back in 15 seconds, Robin, and Swamp Dweller will be about 2.5 minutes. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Good to have you with us. Always appreciate you hanging on out and joining us for the interesting conversations that we have on a nightly basis here on this show. We got Robin Haynes coming up with the Q&A of all things cryptid, and we also have Swamp Dweller next. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tenebros. Tenebros is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This happened several years ago in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I was about 22 years old and working in a medical warehouse with 3 other staff. One of them had called in sick, so there was only 2 of us this day. We had half top floor and full bottom floor. Also, the front part of the office, which had an additional 8 staff, but they hardly came to the back of the warehouse, so we never saw them. We would call the other guy Dan. It was about 1 a.m, and we were pulling orders out to be shipped. Dan was packing them, and I was packing them as well. We were on a roll and almost complete of all the orders, when Dan had called up to the 2nd floor, where I was. I had just put a pallet product up there weighing about 500 pounds. I had lowered and pulled the pallet jack out and lowered the jack, so it wouldn't roll away. Dan asked me to get a couple cases off the pallet. I walked to the end of the floor and looked down towards him. It was about 15 to 20 feet down. I'd asked Dan if I had heard him right, He replied, yes. He said, hurry up and then we'll give a smoke break and get some coffee. I was in the midst of telling him something. Then all of a sudden the pallet jack had moved. I looked behind me to see if someone was there, but to my surprise, there was no one. He shook his head, and just then, the jack moved about 5 feet all of a sudden. I got freaked out and I had noticed by the jack that it got dark, like a shadow of a person was there. Dan had asked me again who was up there. I told him it was just me and I couldn't see anybody but a shadow. He walked backwards to see if he could look up and see. I was looking at him and then I blacked out all of a sudden. Jumping to what I had remembered and what Dan had told me, Dan came running up the stairs toward me and I was laying on a broken pallet. I had scratches on my arms too. Dan was calling my name and trying to wake me. I looked up towards him and asked him what the heck happened. Dan told me, you were looking down towards me and didn't look like yourself. Your eyes were black and you had a pale look. Then you had threatened me and started walking towards me with a look of hatred in your face. And then you fell over. We both got up and took off in a hurry. We got coffee and went back off to the warehouse. I felt very dizzy, drained, and exhausted all in the same time. I'm not sure what happened to me. Maybe one of you guys can explain it.
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to Swamp Dweller on YouTube. Hit subscribe, ring that bell. He is here every third hour, Monday through Friday, to kick things off for us. We love Swamp Dweller. Go support his channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. It's time for Robin.
Walking hanging, swamp stopped where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptic Q&A.
Robin Haynes, always a pleasure to have you here. And I don't know if you heard last night's show or not, Robin. But
I didn't.
Christian McLeod filled in for our good friend Lon Strickler, who had to go rescue his daughter who had a broken down vehicle on her way back to Pennsylvania from Kentucky. So he finally messaged me this morning that I think he got in at like 4:00 this morning, just trying to make sure that, his daughter was safe. That's what us good dads do. And, thank God Christian was there to fill in for him. But we were bragging about you last night.
Oh, really? That's nice. Thank you. I'll take that any day of the week.
And both Christian and I, we were figuring out you have this unique ability. And when you have a unique ability like you do, being very intuitive, but not just being intuitive regarding the cryptid world and the UFO, the paranormal world, it takes it to a whole different level that most people cannot even fathom to understand.
Oh, thank you.
And I was telling our audience last night about how you have this uncanny ability. You're in South Carolina.
Yes.
And I'm up here in British Columbia. You have never traveled here. You've never looked at a map to see anything. You've never been to our Flight 21 crash site. You've never been in this area at all. And yet the way you were able to see it absolutely astounds me every time I call you and you tell me what's going to happen, where the action is going to happen, and then it does. And it baffles me every time.
Thank you. I tell you, I feel so honored when you do call because I really enjoy it. And just to be part of your journey while you're doing that is amazing to me. So I'm very blessed that I get to be part of it.
Well, we're glad that you are, because you've become kind of a staple. Like, I almost don't feel right in trying to go out there without a conversation with you first, because I mean, even at times when you have kind of stated that be careful in certain areas, or the energy is off. When we get there, you can tell the difference. You really can tell the difference of what is going on, what you're saying. It shouldn't make sense, yet there it is.
Yeah, it's really crazy because when it comes to reading energy, there's no time and space. Like there's no space between it. So it's just like I'm automatically there, And so I wish I understood more why it plays out the way it plays out. It just kind of happens.
How do you do it?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I wish I could be more mechanical about doing it, other than I manifest just being there. I feel the energy for it, for the area that I want, and it's almost like I'm there. So to me, it's like I'm standing there and I'm looking around, and I'm part of what's going on there, is how it comes across to me. It's a matter of just focusing intent and letting the energy from that place or that person just pull me there. I've done it for so long. Like, to explain it any more than that, I don't even know how, because I did it when I was a kid. I never knew any different. And so it's just, like I said, I manifest where I want to be, or who I want to be with, or the situation. And the energy pulls me there, because everything is energy and frequency. So it just pulls me there, but it's like I'm right there, seeing it and feeling it.
Now, when you're seeing it and feeling it, is it in real time or just something generic?
Depends on what I'm trying to do. Like, I have certain places and certain things I've done where it's like I focus on that area, and it's almost like a time rewind, and I can see what happened leading up to a certain event. Like, we had a small UFO craft that came down in the back of my yard. I've only got like an acre and a half, and it came down back there. And I had walked back there. I was in my house. I had a vision that it was going on. So the next morning I went out there, and there was a spot where you could see where it had come down at. So it was a matter of, I just focused on that spot, and then like a rewind the time as to what went on prior to. And that's how I knew what had happened. And then that night I got the same feeling again and went out, and exactly what I had seen the night before was going on in my backyard. And there was a red spot. It was not red like the color red, it glowed. And it came down right back there again in the same exact place. So it just kind of depends on what you need, or what I'm trying to do. Like, when I work with clients, I'll have people that'll get hold of me, and they'll want information about things that have happened. And I can do it that way as well. It's just like an automatic thing. And I think when I was little, I was more inclined not to believe it until I would say something to people, and they're like, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, okay, now I'm onto something. And so I would just practice doing it, and it just happened.
It's so amazing to watch and experience. And let me tell you, for our audience out there who may not fully grasp it, when I'm heading out into the field, and it's usually every weekend that I go, one of the first phone calls I make is to Robin.
Yep.
And when I make that phone call to Robin, I say, we're heading out to Flight 21. What can we expect for today? And she will list off usually 2 or 3 things to be aware of, whether or not the energy is good. That's usually the first part.
Yeah.
The second part is you pick up whatever creatures are there, whether it's a Sasquatch, whether it's little people, whether it's the paranormal or aliens. You pick it up, and you're telling us, okay, this is where you're going to go from where you park. This is the area you want to see. Over by your gifting site, I see this being over here. There seems to be some action around the crash site, with the spirits moving around. I see the little people. Or maybe at times it's been, look, there's some bear energy there. There's some sort of cat energy, whether it's a cougar or a lynx, whatever it may be. You seem to be able to just grasp onto that. Tell us how the energy patterns work.
Well, everything has an energy signature. I don't care if it's your toothbrush, a Kleenex, a cougar, a Sasquatch, everything has an energy signature. And it's just like when you have a thumbprint, nobody has the same thumbprint. It's the same thing with energy. So you learn how to read the energy signatures. So like, let's say you're mind speaking one day and you're talking to one called Bob and you're talking to it all the time. And then another one comes in and says, "Hi, Dave, it's me, it's Bob." And the energy doesn't match. You know, somebody's lying to you, and you know that that's not who you want to talk to because they're being dishonest. So like when I work with people, that's mandatory. If I'm going to work with you, you're going to learn how to read the energy signatures because it's a safety thing. And then as time goes on, you learn all these different energy signatures, and they can be overwhelming at times. Like you can go into the woods and you're picking up energy signatures off of everything. So you've got to learn how to compartmentalize it so you know what you're dealing with. But it is a safety thing, and it does help a lot. So like when I do it for you and I remote view you, when I remote view, I don't just see things, I feel it. It's like I'm actually present, I'm there. And you get details. You don't always, there's sometimes that you can get specific details without a problem. But like if I'm going to work for, like when you call me and I want to work on that and make sure that you're safe out there, whatever, I don't focus on the details around it. Like I'll get details on it, but I don't get hyper focused on the details. I get hyper focused on the energy signatures because I need to know what's going to be out there trying to play with you at the time that you're out there. Is this something that's good? Is it something that's bad? You know, and it'll give you directions as to what, you know, oh, it's on this side, it's on that side. So it just depends on what you're trying to achieve, how you do it. Like I have people that I'll remote view for, and they aren't worried about energy signatures. They just want to see the area. Okay, well, we can do that. Or I can get more specific with it. So it just depends. Like when I'm doing it for you, I remote view the whole area, and then I start trying to ping off these different energy signatures to find out where they're at, what they're at, or is it safe for you? Because there's been times when I've said, it's not going to be as safe tonight as it normally is. You know, I want you to be careful because things are off. And you read those signatures and you get a feel of what should be there and what shouldn't.
That is pretty unique for a lot of people being able to do that. Take this past weekend, for instance, when we went out to the Flight 21 crash site, you predicted that we would have some action out by the gifting site.
Yep.
That happened. You predicted that there was going to be, the big guy was going to leave some evidence for us.
Yep.
That happened.
Yeah.
Now, you're, and I will be honest, without sounding like a jerk here, no intuitive is 100% correct.
I agree.
You did not mention the cloaked Sasquatch that we saw.
Right.
You know, you did mention that there was going to be noise to the right of where we park.
Right.
That happened. Okay. And it's just very, very interesting to see how it lines up, because I have a couple of real skeptics on our team. And when I tell them, you know, whether it's Mike, our videographer, he's one of them, but he's already convinced that it's weird how you know what's going on. And he's even asked, Robin ever been up here before? I'm like, no, she doesn't even know where this place is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where you were at if my life depended on it. That's the thing.
Talk to me about the 18.5-inch track that we found. We actually found a couple of them. The second one is on our video that we're going to be putting out here soon. But when you have an 18.5-inch track, how big is that creature?
I would say at 18.5, you're looking at about 9.5, maybe 10. Other people may feel differently on that. For me, I know like the one that I'm really close with, his was 16.5. He's bigger now. And he was 9 foot at that point. So at 18.5, I would figure close to 10. Now, I do think that track was from that black one that let himself be seen to you that time. I think the leader is more of a dirty brown color, a little bit lighter shade. He was out there, but I don't think that's who the print was from. I think it was from that black one, because that black one absolutely adores you. Him and the white one, that white one stands out there and looks for your vehicle every single time. And he's always throwing the little pebbles at your vehicle. Because that's what he said last time. He said, I toss a rock to him so he knows that I'm there. And sometimes you pick it, you realize he's doing it, and other times you don't.
I would be honest with you, the majority of time I don't. I think I've only heard one pebble being tossed.
Yeah. Yeah. I know he did it last week, and that black one usually shows up. Those two seem to be pretty close. The white one is almost like a guard. He sits in that same spot all the time and watches. And when you get hold of me and you say, I'm headed up there, I generally let him know you are, because then a lot of them will start moving up from behind, because they go way to the back is where they live at, and they'll start moving up towards that area. What I thought was fantastic was the shimmer. Is it Angelina?
Yes.
Angelina. She was lovely. They really liked her. She's got phenomenal energy. She really does. They really enjoyed her. And they actually did the shimmer for her. So that was pretty cool. Cloaked, I knew they always walk around cloaked. So I was surprised he did do the shimmer for her, but I thought that was really cool. I don't think that was a planned thing. I think that was just a matter of, I think it was a test for her, to be honest with you, to see her reaction with it. And she handled it brilliantly. So they were fine with it. But they actually do really like her.
Yeah, we have a bunch of good energy people out there.
Yeah. And that group is handling it really well. Because when you get a bunch of different people coming in and out, you're the one that they're consistent with. Okay. They know you're going to be there. They know how you're going to be. They know how you're going to feel when you're there. So that's what they count on a lot more than you realize. Like, they stay focused on you when you're there, as far as like, okay, that's the safe place. We know he's not going to do anything. We know his intent. He's been coming out all this time. We're good there. So when you bring another person in, it stimulates them. They have this amazing amount of patience for certain things, and then absolutely zero patience for others. So as you're bringing in new team members, they're handling it better than I thought they would. Actually, so far, there hasn't been any opposition to it. And they've been pretty welcoming to it. I thought maybe they would be a little bit more standoffish, and they do sometimes, but for the most part, they're pretty, upfront. Like I said, they really seem to like her. And they did well, I think, is it Mike? I think they did well with him too, when he was out.
Yeah, Mike's out with us every weekend now.
Yeah, but they get overstimulated really easy. Like, if they're hiding behind a tree and they don't want you to see them, they can stay there for hours and you would never know they're there. They have the patience that you wouldn't believe. But if it's something they want said, something they want done, they're like a toddler on crack. Like, they just can't do it. So when you bring new people in there, sometimes they do get overstimulated, and they aren't necessarily bad. They'll just either go really quiet, or they're not as up in your face and friendly as normal. But they've really enjoyed the people you've brought out. I think they've been really well behaved with it, and they've taken it really well.
Well, I think they've taken it very well too. I just cannot wait to actually get a sighting. I want to see them. I've never seen any of them up there.
Well, you did that one black one. Remember when he stepped out in front of you? But that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was at a different location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was in 2022.
Yeah. But they follow you all over the place. It's a riot. I mean, and you had one that came right up behind you the other night. I don't know if you realized it or not, but he was like right directly behind you.
I did not even recognize it.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is they're getting brave enough to do that counting coup. So like when they count coup, excuse me, when they count coup, they're cloaked, but they come up and they actually touch you physically. And they'll be cloaked. I mean, they're not, I've had them do it in the flesh, but usually they do it cloaked. And it can be anything from they're just playing around. It could be like a rite of passage with the kids to teach them various things. They have them do it. See how brave they are. Generally, they're just playing around. They used to come up behind me. I'd be out in the woods and they would come up behind and they'd start patting my head because they like to play with my hair, and they pat my head and I'd turn around, there'd be nobody there. I'd walk forward and I'd feel a hand on my shoulder. Which I don't mind it in the daylight. I hate it when they do it at night. I mean, it's not like I can see them when they do it anyway, but I don't like it at night.
Robin, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. When we return, more Bigfoot talk, more cryptid talk. That's what the Q&A is for here on Spaced Out Radio. We love it when Robin Haynes is here. She makes it so much more fun and enjoyable. I hope you're enjoying it too. The final half hour is next.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Robin, we're clear.
Okay. Yeah, you
So-
got it's such a nice group that you've got out there. It really is, because they seem to be really pretty friendly, and they get more so. It takes a long time. You know, I've only had one group that I worked with that was just like up in my face from the very second I got there. And they did that for years. But normally, you know, it takes time to build that up. And with you going out there every weekend, it gets better all the time. You get more that come in.
I am curious what they thought of Kevin, because Kevin is like 6'6" and like 380 pounds with a size 16 foot.
They're going to be cautious. They're going to be cautious. They're going to, I mean, has he gone out yet? I don't remember Kevin going out.
No, this was his first time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they're going to have a problem with him. Like, Kevin, to me, feels like he's got a good heart and soul. Like, even if, you know, when you talk about him, when I try to do a scan on him, he feels really good. And I think they'll be okay. He's just a lot bigger, which means they're going to be more cautious just as far as of a threat. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't. I think he's going to be like a big, giant, cuddly teddy bear to him. You know, they'll be a little bit cautious, but I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to watch him doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird, you know, they actually led us with tracks. So we were way out in the back, kind of looking towards where you say is the no-go zone.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I should save this for the show. Yeah, let's save that part for the show in 3 minutes.
Okay. You know, it's funny because you're getting more and more different beings that are coming in there. The more interaction you're getting, it's like it's multiplying. It's like now you got the little people running through there, and they don't live there. Like, I think they went through there just to hunt, you know, and they kind of liked it and stuck around that one night. But, and you know, there's been one or two of them I've seen through there, but not a lot.
As long as the Skinwalker or Wendigo isn't there, I'm okay.
Yeah, you don't need either one of those around, that's for sure.
Yeah, once was enough.
Yeah. But it seems like it's a pretty good place. You know, it's weird. We keep having all these frequency shifts. And every time the frequency shifts, which has been continually lately, that place, the frequency is going up every single time. Like every week when I go to remote view it, the frequency is higher than the week before. In a good way. I mean, very good way. The higher the frequency, the better it is, the safer it is, happier everybody is.
Yeah. It is unique. To answer Joe's question, no, I would not stay the night up there again. I would stay in the area, just not up there directly. Because I have a feeling what would happen is if we stayed in the area, I think we could lure the Sasquatch out of that area.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and you've got some major predators up there too. I mean, you got to remember that.
Oh,
you know,
I'm very aware.
non-paranormal predators up there. That big cat comes through every now and then, but it's almost like that's the path that it goes through. Like when I was in Michigan, we had a black panther, and the DNR kept telling me it wasn't there, even though I was looking out the window at it. And it would about once every 3 months, it would filter through. Like that was the path it took. And every 3 months, you could narrow it down when it was going to show up.
Yep.
But that cougar, it just seems to be a path that it goes through.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, to be blunt. They're allowed to pass on through.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's over aggressive.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, they're just like what we caught on our trail cams. It's pretty obvious that they are, just kind of wandering, doing their thing that animals do. It is pretty aggressive.
Yeah, and I do think that when the Sasquatch know you're coming out, it seems like they're pushing a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah.
Like when they know you're coming. But it's a riot because it's like...
Here we go, Robin. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, we're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in Robin Haynes for the Q&A as she joins us each and every time this week for a little insider knowledge on Sasquatch and other cryptid beings. Robin, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love it here.
When we look at, a place like we're investigating,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I've noticed is that they will try to lure us into different areas. So, for instance, at Flight 21, there is what you call a no-go zone. There is a tree that is broken. It used to be probably a 60, 70-foot tall tree that's fallen and broken. It's now on the ground. And beyond the tip of that tree, you say, don't go there. That's their territory. That's where they are. And it's funny, people will go into that territory. Like, give you an example, Brian on my team and Angelina on my team, they were just beyond that point. Actually, we all were, to be blunt. And they had like dizzy spells going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically said, point blank, I said, well, move to the other side of the tree. You're going to be fine within seconds. And sure enough, they both walked to the other side of the tree at different times, and immediately that dizziness goes away.
Yeah.
I never got it this time, but they moved us from one area over to what we call the meadow. And there was a lot of padded ground down on the meadow. And Brian ended up following this one trail and found a couple of 15-inch prints leading in a direction that when we came out of the meadow, we came a different way. We actually went around it. We went through it and around the top of it. And that's where we were in their territory.
Yeah.
And what got interesting there is I automatically knew how to get back because there's one giant boulder there that I could see. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just head towards the boulder. Because, you're always looking for some sort of markings. So that way, you're not getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we ended up. Angelina ended up finding the 18.5-inch track. Then we found the other one. And that's eventually where she saw the cloaked one walk through. So my question to you is, when they are marking territory, like you say, we're not supposed to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we felt led into that area. What's the difference there?
Well, what happens, and this is where a lot of people get messed up, is they go out there to interact with them and they really push the boundaries. Okay. They go out to interact and they're going to go out there, they're going to find him, they're going to get as close to him as possible. There's a balance that you have to have between how far do you go. They need to feel safe. They need to feel like you're not being intrusive on their home. So it's like you can go part of the way there and be just fine and have great interaction. But then the closer you get to them, and this goes back again to the energies and the frequencies, I've had them stand in front of me. Okay. I've been toe to toe. And the amount of frequency that comes off of their body and energy is mind boggling. And that's how they stay safe. They manipulate the frequencies, they manipulate the energies. That's how they do everything from zapping to protecting to just existing. You know, like when they get that close to me, I'll tell them to pull the energy back because it's too overpowering on my third dimensional body. And they will. So when you go back there, you're now in their space. Like they have a spot where they're very comfortable with interacting with you. They like to be able to come to you. They don't want you to go all the way back to them because their families are back there. That's where they're safe. That's their home. They don't want anybody there. They're happy to come forward to see you, but they don't want you getting any closer than you have to because there's kids back there. And if anybody thinks that we're protective of our children, that is nothing compared to cryptids. They are a whole new level. They're a high frequency being, and the higher your frequency, the more emotional you are. Okay. And when it comes to protecting those babies, whether it's a dog man or a Sasquatch or any other cryptid, it is game on at all times. So that's where their family's at. That's where their safe zone's at. That's where they can relax and feel comfortable. They will push energy and frequency like a wall all around that area. And it's like people that have worked with me before know I do energy walls and I do energy bubbles. They do the same thing. That's where I learned how to do it. And it's like this giant wall of frequency and energy. So when you go back there, that's why they were getting dizzy. Okay, they were too close to where the actual hub of where everybody stays at. And that whole area is filled with this huge supercharged powered frequency and energy. And that's why when they went past that one spot, they were getting dizzy. Because you're still in a third dimensional body and it will make you dizzy. But yet they weren't getting zapped. You know, so they weren't angry, but it is highly charged with frequency and energy. Those arches, those structures that are an arch that everybody sees, or some of the teepees, not all of them, but a lot of them are filled with that same kind of energy. Because a lot of those arches, I have a friend that got a video. I was explaining the arches to him and he was videotaping it. And there was a being that came out from a portal in that arch. Because a lot of them are so charged with energy and frequency that portals create in there and things travel in and out of it. But it's the same thing when you go back to that no-go zone. That's their private space. It's like if you have a bunch of strangers show up at your house, you may walk outside and talk to them while you're standing in your front yard, but that doesn't mean you're going to invite them in your house and have dinner with them. And it's the same thing with them. So you really, when you go out, and you guys do this fantastic, this is why you're having such success. You have to figure out how far that boundary do I push it and how far do I realize that now I'm not making them feel safe anymore. If you want contact with them, there's got to be a respect, there's got to be a balance, and they've got to still feel safe in order to come and have interaction, which yours do. But you don't push the boundaries. You give them the space that they require for them, and you let them come up from the back and come up by your gifting site and in the area you guys are at. And that's why you're so successful with it. They want to be in control all the time. As soon as you take the slightest bit of control from them, they're in panic mode. Because our people have never been kind to them, ever. You know, we've got individuals, thankfully now, where people are more aware of them that are being kinder. But this is now inbred in them. But that's why when they cross that certain point, they got all that energy swirling. There's an energy wall right there that protects them. And it will work like an alarm system. Trust me, you go past that barrier, they know. They absolutely 100% know.
What's back there?
They've got back in that one place where I keep telling you is the no-go zone. They've got their family members are there. The kids are there. That's kind of like the meeting place for the clan. And that will lead back into where they actually sleep and reside at. These little temporary teepees that they put out all around, that doesn't mean they live there. That means that's where they took a nap there, or that's what they made a blind for while they were trying to hunt. But that doesn't mean that's where they live at. There's a big difference. And that spot back there for your group, if you go back far enough, they do live back there. That is the meeting place for them. They've got kids back there. They've got adults back there. They'll go back there and eat. They'll, that's their place. That's their sacred space. They don't want anybody around that. The whole clan meets back there. And when the whole clan meets back there, if somebody comes back there that's dangerous and tries to take anybody out, the whole clan's gone. So that's like their spot. That's just their sacred space back there for them. They don't want anybody else back there. That's why they're always so willing to come up front to where you're at, where the gifting area is at, and the crash site. They have no problem coming up there to meet you because you've never pushed the boundaries where you've made them uncomfortable where they stay. If you ever did, one of two things would happen. They would either move out of that area, which is highly unlikely, or they would probably, scream, holler, throw rocks, maybe bluff charge, whatever, because you've gotten too close. But you guys are very, very respectful. I don't remember a time that you haven't been. And I think that's why it works so well. Like, people really need to pay attention to how you're doing things because you're doing things correctly. And I don't think any of us are perfect at it. I'm certainly not. But there are basic guidelines to take when you want to interact with these guys. And you're doing that. You give them their space. You don't push the boundaries. You go out there to that one area, yes, but you're letting them come from the back to you. If you want to get to them, if you want to be able to have interaction in a good, positive way to keep it going, you let them come to you. You don't chase them down. You don't do all these crazy things. And that's what you're doing. You're meeting them at that halfway point. That helps make them secure. You wouldn't think that you would have to make them feel so secure, as big as they are and as powerful as they are, but you do.
Yet here we are. Here we are. It's always so intriguing. It really is. I know I say that a lot, but it is very intriguing. At what point what do we have to do as a team to actually see them?
That is entirely on them. Now, different clans are going to go by different rules. And we've talked about this before, where it's kind of like the federal rules and the state rules. All of them across the board have got basic rules. But then each clan, the leader of that clan, is going to individualize the laws that they want carried out by that clan. It could be a clan that is just hardcore not going to allow that. I've worked with the one clan I worked with. They walked around uncloaked around my yard all the time. Didn't matter if it was nighttime, daytime, they didn't care. But I've had other clans, like the ones where I'm at now. They don't want visuals. Nobody is going to see them. I've gotten a couple glimpses of them, and my neighbor has, but they don't want to be seen. I get farther with them as if I just go out and take random pictures in the backyard while they're cloaked, and then they show up in the photos. Or I have had one of the ones from Michigan that came here when I moved. He's been outside my window, and I was able to see him as he was looking down through my window. But the group here, they're not where they want any physical sightings at all. But the group I worked with the last time I was in Michigan, they were all about it. They didn't care if you saw them. That was not a big deal. They'd be outside my window, pounding on my window at night. So it just depends on the group. And it does take a long time. And you're talking about some that are up in the wilderness in British Columbia. They don't get as many humans coming in there as per se like my group did. But again, it's an individual group. There's no way to predict it. And unfortunately, it's all up to them. We have no control over it.
It is weird, because really you are at the control of the environment you are in. And the phenomena doesn't like anything being in control besides itself.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. They have complete control over everything. That's another thing that's really hard for some of our people to understand is they go out there and they're like, well, I can handle this. You can't handle anything. They're letting you handle it. From the second you get out of your vehicle, you are now in their world. and you go in and you do the best you can do, and you go in with a kind and loving heart and follow the rules. There's rules to everything, and they've got enough of them. But it really is, for me, it's amazing to watch how much progression has gone on in that area. And they are so comfortable with you now. That's what I love about it. Really. I mean, you guys go out there, or I'll tell them, Dave's coming out or whatever. There's a comfort to that for them now. It's not like it was in the beginning where, okay, let me see what's going to happen. Let's see what these guys do. You guys are relatively predictable. That's the other thing. They like predictability. They want to know what you're doing.
For anybody. It's not just Flight 21. That's
right.
For anybody in a Sasquatch area.
Absolutely. Predictability. When I would go out with the group in Michigan, I mean, I had a pattern that I walked every single day. They knew where I was going to be, what time I was going to be there, how I was going to be there, and they knew it. And it didn't take long. They would start playing games or whatever, with me. And we had a lot of fun. But they knew where I was going to be every second of the day. There were no surprises for them. And if I was going to deteriorate from what I was normally doing, I would mentally tell them, okay, guys, look at today, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And they handled it. They were not quite as sure about it, but I had the same path and I did the same thing, which sounds boring, but I got more interaction that way. That predictability gave them a safety net. And as soon as they felt safe, more things happened. Like with your group, you got footprints. They come out to see you the second they know you're coming. They're waiting now. It's none of this, you're going out and waiting for somebody to show up. They are actively coming up as soon as I let them know you're on the way. And a lot of times they already know because they keep an eye on you anyway. And not everybody gets to see them in a shimmer state when they're doing that semi-cloak. And yet they let Angelina see it. That shows that they have comfort in the situation with you there. But realistically, while they like everybody that you've brought out, their comfort zone is you. You are the constant. You are the one that's there every single time. You're the constant. You've never done anything to hurt them. You've never done anything to really frighten them. And you play by the rules. And you show respect when you're out there. So you are the constant. And that keeps them calm. If you're not rattled, they're not rattled. It's just like with little kids when they're little. If they fall down and they skin their knee, if the parents stay nice and calm and, oh, it's going to be all right, everything's fine, that child stays calmer. Where if the parents get upset that they get hurt, the kid falls apart. It's the same thing with them. They will follow off your actions. And they know you, and you're solid when you go out there. That keeps them calm. That keeps them centered. Like, I don't think you realize how much you yourself affects them in a good way, in a very good way. The reason it's successful out there is because of you. You've been able to bring other people out there and still have success. But again, look at the overall picture. What is the constant thing? You. Like, they get excited when you're coming out because they know how you are, who you are, how you're going to be, and they know they're safe. So when you bring these other people, they are more accepting than if you weren't there and those people went out by themselves. It'd be a whole different ballgame. But they look to you and you're okay with these people. I used to, if I had people over my house that they did not know, because they would watch me so close, and whoever came to my house, they would watch. The first thing I would do when they got out of the car is I would walk up and hug them. And then I'd tell the Sasquatch, see, I'm fine. Look at, I'm fine. I'm happy. I like them. These are a friend. I'm good. And they didn't have any problems. The people I didn't do that to, they threw rocks at. So they go by your reaction. And their constant for that area is you. Because no matter how many different people you've had out, they've always been with you and they trust you. Somebody just said, Dave, friend.
Oh, thank you. It definitely is a trial and error type of scenario. Like one of the mistakes we made on the weekend was when Angelina didn't call out the glimmer right away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we're doing out there is we're trying to react to that. We could have gone and see if there were footprints there. We could have gone to see where did this thing take off to into the trees, maybe find a trail. So we're learning as we go as well. I mean, we're not professional researchers. We're enthusiasts who are playing in an area of a paranormal carnival sort of thing.
Yeah. But you know what? We're all learning. If anybody ever hears of somebody that says, "Oh, I'm an expert," or "I got it all figured out and I know how to do it," they are such liars, and they really are, because there's no way. We are never going to know everything about them. Every situation will always be different because there's all these different individuals that are different. So we all learn. I don't consider myself a researcher. I'm an experiencer. I've experienced all these things. But that doesn't make what I know any more valuable than somebody that hasn't had any experiences, because it's all part of the collective. It's all part of the puzzle pieces. And what happens to one person may or may not happen to another. It's like this giant think tank of ideas. I mean, everybody's valid, no matter how little experience or how much. But
Well,
there's no way to have experts in it. There just isn't. Because you're never going to be able to handle every situation that comes up. Every time you think you've got a handle on it, okay, this is what I traditionally will do. Okay, that's great. But now you're with a different clan, and that clan's going to read things completely different. So now you adjust to them. I mean, I got bluff charged by that one in Texas back, I think it was like 2014 or I don't remember. It was a while ago. But anyway, because he wanted these kids that were there with me. And I wasn't going to let him have the kids. Well, that was not on my radar that day. Other than I did say before we went there, I said something bad's going to happen because they are not going to be happy we're there. And the person I was with is like, "Oh, no, it's great." I'm like, "No, I don't think it's going to be great." And it wasn't. But every situation is different and you have to adjust. And you'll feel the energies coming off of them on how to make those adjustments. And you're really good at it. Like you go in there and you pick up on things right away.
Well, it is kind of fun,
Yeah, they're a blast. They are definitely fun.
Robin, do me a favor. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on my website, which is www.paranormal-empowerment.com if you want services. Or you can find me on Facebook if you just have a quick question under Robin Haynes, Haynes, no middle initial. And you can find me there.
I love it. I always appreciate you, Robin. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
I love you guys.
On Spaced Out Radio, as we say goodnight to Robin. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X and hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Robin.
Thank you, sir. It was always fun.
Yeah, I love it when you're here, my friend. Thank you.
I know. I love it here.
Well, you're kind of stuck with us.
Well, good, because you're stuck with me. Well, I'm going to you have a wonderful night. Have you got your next show yet tonight?
Yeah, I'm going on in a minute here.
Okay. Well, you have the best of luck, my friend. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay. Bye.
All right. For the rest of you, big thank you tonight to our super chatters as we say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Necessary Dialogue, Mel WD40, Benno, KJM, and Little Cam. Thank you. And to the rest of you. Oh, Blue Skies as well. Thank you, Blue Skies. Appreciate you. We're going to be getting a call from New York here in a minute or two. Tomorrow night on the show, who's with us? Stan Williams is going to be here for American Ghost Stories. We're going to have some fun there. Join us for a little paranormal parlor right there. All right. Not B. Arthur's Paranormal Portal, but the paranormal parlor of stories. It's going to be fun. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better too. So I'm going to get going here, guys. Love you all. Don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell, and leave a comment after the show. Tell me what you think. We'll see you soon, everybody. Go over to WABC, the Red Apple Audio Networks. I'll be there next. Good night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.